again. Capture him!
Uh-oh.
Hello everybody, I'm Ben from What Culture Gaming.
Oh, you said gaming. I'm Peter from What Culture Gaming.
Threw you off there.
Yeah.
We've got a video
Game
review for you today. It's Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot or just Crash?
Crash Bandicoot.
The Sane Trilogy. I wasn't sure if he put his last name in.
His last name?
If he'd kept his last name after the divorce with Sony.
Oh god.
Now he's Crash Activision, isn't he?
Crash Division.
Anyway, Peter, you've been reviewing this.
Yeah.
What are you giving Crash Activision, the Insane Trilogy?
I'm giving it 4 stars.
Wow, look at all of them stars.
Look at all 4 of those.
That's good. When did the first one come out?
Oh, 1997, maybe 96.
Right, so nearly 20 years on.
Yeah.
Or at least 20 years on.
Still
pretty good.
Still very good. They brought the first 3 out back in the 90s, a year after each other. They were.
Wow.
I think they were successive. Citation needed, but I think that's right.
Just cranked them on out, didn't they?
Yeah.
Kind of like they did with the Uncharted games every 2 years.
Yes.
Here's an Uncharted game.
Oh, Naughty Dog, they're just so good.
They're just, they're still excellent.
But are Activision good? And are, what are they called? Vicarious Visions?
Yes.
I nearly said Tricarious Visions. I don't know what that means.
Triceratops Vision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are they good? Let's find out.
Do we want to find out?
Yeah.
We're gonna. Now, Peter, I must admit, narrative-wise, I wasn't really too into the Crash Bandicoot games back on the PS1.
No, too complicated.
It was more, way too complicated.
All those characters.
More of a Spyro man.
Yeah.
Loved Crash Team Racing.
Oh, I loved
But
Spyro.
please talk me through, and for those who are perhaps uninitiated,
Yeah.
what is this all about? Who is this guy?
Who is this?
What's he doing?
This orange fox. What is he? Well, Crash is he's a mutant. Did you know that? Crash was invented or created by Dr. Neo Cortex and Dr. Nitrous Brio, right?
Yeah.
They have a thing called the Cortex Vortex.
Okay.
That's actually what it's called.
Yes.
Which has an evolver ray, and you can put an animal inside, and it turns it into a jeans-wearing, sneakers-wearing, spinning, jumping,
Radical dude.
Whumping. It goes wrong. Dr. Cortex, the vortex is not yet ready. That's what he says. It wasn't ready.
Right.
And he comes out and escapes out the window, kind of falls out the window. He didn't really mean to do that.
Right.
Because his girlfriend is still in there.
No!
Torna Bandicoot.
What?
So she gets grabbed, and Cortex is like, we're going to use her instead. She's going to lead my army of mutants to world domination.
Right.
So Crash 1 is about getting all the way back to the castle. That's all you do. You navigate 3 islands so that you can get back to his castle.
Okay, God, he falls far, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he lands in the sea and gets washed up on Insanity Beach, which is why it's called the Insane Trilogy. And Crash 2, Cortex wants to destroy the world, because of course he does, and he tricks Crash into gathering crystals for him by pretending he's an ally.
Oh, Crash.
And Crash 3, an evil mask named Uka Uka escapes because the satellite from Crash 2 lands on his temple.
I'm familiar with elements of all of these from Crash Team Racing, but I've never really put them together.
And Uka Uka makes Cortex go through time, or send his minions through time anyway, he's too good for that, and gather crystals from around space-time.
Wow.
From various place-times.
Place-times.
Yeah.
Place and spaces time.
So the narrative is kept the same.
Yes.
As I'm sure you can expect. But interestingly, they've just played around with it a little bit. You can now play as Coco Bandicoot, Crash's sister, in all 3 games.
Oh, okay.
On most of the levels. And they've added some contextual stuff to explain how she's in 1 and 2 as a playable character, which is really clever, because in Crash 3, she uses the Time Twister to travel back in time to Crash 1 and 2. So they've. I like how they've given it something that works in the lore of the game. But yeah, everything is basically as you expect it to be, just with a few kind of tiny tweaks to bring it up to date. For example, Torna Bandicoot, Crash's girlfriend. It used to be in the cutscene that when Cortex goes, prepare the female Bandicoot, she's just like being held by 2 evil men, like not bodyguards, what do you call them? Hitmen. No, henchmen. Henchmen. But in this version, she knocks one of them out first. So she's not just a helpless damsel.
Good for Torna.
Yeah, she clocks one right in the face, and then she just gets outnumbered. There are like 4 of them, so
Right.
then she can't.
Like Leia in Star Wars.
Yeah, right.
Gets a shot off, right?
So I like that. But narrative, there's not much to say about narrative because we already know it all. But I just like what they've done with it. They've kept it as it was and just brought it up to date with a new character, a new playable character, and made the women a bit less stupid.
Should we move on?
Yeah. Up next, Ben.
Yes.
We're not going to do gameplay. We're not going to do presentation.
What are we going to do next?
We're going to do marketing next.
What?
Yeah,
we don't have a graphic for
I've
that.
prepared a graphic. Oh, look at that.
Is it just a PNG of the word graphic?
Yes,
Of
look,
the word
marketing. I just want to quickly, before we move on to presentation, I show you all of this game and its beauty.
Right.
I want to talk about the fact that you, Activision, this game to... I'll carry on. This game to me, because I...
Hey, do you want to buy this
Oh, do you wanna
piece
buy-
of paper?
Yeah.
You want to buy it?
Do you want to buy it? Because here it is. You can see all of it right now.
There you go. Look. Oh, you still weren't convinced? There you go.
Yeah, well, there's
Here's
all
the
of the...
entire thing.
Here's everything.
Yeah.
Do you want to buy this yet?
Yeah.
Do you want a closer look at it? Let
Yeah.
me show you exactly what we're about to give you. I have issues with Activision showing off this game because we already know the story of this game. We know roughly how it plays. So what is there left? The reason that this game is a thing is because they're bringing it up to date visually,
Yes.
right? So if you're showing me about 60% of the tile sets from across 3 games,
Every day there was something.
yeah, something new. Whole levels played through. Cutscenes were shown. There was a boss showcase that showed off half a dozen bosses. Why am I buying this if I can just go on Crash Bandicoot official YouTube and look at it, right? That's my issue. Now, I'm about to show you loads of stuff in the presentation section of this review, but that's because it's a review,
Yes.
and that's what a review is for.
But did it work, Peter, given the incredible sales figures?
It seems to have worked. I guess for some people they were going back so they could play it again. I wasn't because I play Crash Bandicoot like 6 times a year. But for me and for a huge proportion of people, all they wanted to buy this game for, and fair enough to them, was to see what they'd done with it. And
Right.
I wonder what Toad Village looks like in modern gen
Here it
graphics.
is.
Here it is. You don't need to buy the game. So that's my issue. We're about to show
Toad Village.
Toad Village. It's right there.
There it is.
We are about to show loads of stuff now, but it's a review and I'm allowed to do that.
That's fine.
A trailer shouldn't
okay.
have all that stuff in, right? Okay?
Yeah.
Right, you've been
okay.
warned.
Yeah. Biggest thing here, Peter, I think, presentation.
Yeah, this is the thing, right?
This is among perhaps gameplay, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah, well, actually, that's a good point. Yeah, that is a
Presentation,
big thing.
huge deal.
Oh, big old deal.
Right, not so pointy no more.
No, not so pointy. They've done a good job.
Yes.
Crash looks like Crash. And I mean, he looks like original trilogy Crash. Because obviously, there were more Crash games after the original
No,
trilogy.
there weren't.
No, there weren't.
No,
That
there-
didn't happen.
No.
Wrath of Cortex isn't. There's no such thing as that.
Crash Nitro Kart Racing,
Nitro
that didn't
Kart,
happen.
Yeah, definitely not. Twin Sanity.
What?
Crash of the Titans.
Who?
What? Who are they?
Get out of here.
Now-
Skylanders?
Sorry. Oh.
You know Crash
had
is
my
in
lunch.
that, right?
Right. Now, in those games that we don't talk about, that don't exist,
Yes.
it is Crash, the character, and you can kind of tell it's him, but there's still just something off about him. Like he's
Got the tattoos.
well, there's the tattoos.
He's got an undeserved swagger.
Yeah, they're all different
You're an accident,
variations
Crash.
of him. but
Never forget you're an accident.
some of them look squishy, like they're made by Aardman Animations. Some of them have tattoos. You can tell it's him, but it's not him. But this time it's him, right? I think they must have gone by the actual exact proportions and just
Yeah.
decided we're rebuilding
We're fluffing him up.
Yeah,
fluff him.
we're just adding some fluff, and that's all they've done.
Yeah.
And that was a good thing. That's something they needed to nail. They nailed that. Then the rest of the world in general looks fantastic.
Generally?
Fantastic. Now, there have been a lot of complaints about the lighting engine of this game.
I've heard that everything is light, all of it.
Well,
is it not?
that's not strictly true.
Okay.
I think there are a few problems with the lighting engine. The shadows don't seem to interact with each other as they should. If you see what I mean, like when 2 shadows cross, you can tell that they've just plastered one shadow over the other
Right, rather than blending together.
rather than blending them or, that kind of thing. But people who say that the lighting engine is, terrible and just needed completely redoing, that's not strictly true.
Okay.
Because in all 3 Crash Bandicoot games, maybe not the first one, yes, all 3, there are levels in which it's pitch black and you have to like run with the Firefly, otherwise you'll be left in pitch blackness. And it looks gorgeous. And there are also certain levels that now have like almost like a filter across them. So the Toad Village one, for example, and the subsequent levels in that tile set have a sort of orangey kind of almost like a dawn or dusk thing going on with them.
Okay.
And I really like all that, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. And sure, the shadows are a bit wink wonk, but apart from that, lighting engine is good.
It's nice.
Last of all, in terms of presentation,
Yeah.
music is.
Oh no!
Well,
Oh no!
when I say I don't mean because it's consistently okay.
Yeah.
I mean loads of them are great.
Okay.
But some of them are pretty bad.
Oh dear. How so?
Well, I think
You're a big music nerd.
this is a testament to the power of instrumentation. Because
Right.
the
Was there
melodies.
something going to pop up then?
No, I just
Okay.
thought I'd look down the
Have a
lens.
pause, sorry.
Because the melodies and harmonies are the same as they were. They've recreated every track from the ground up. But some of the instruments, they've gone a bit heavy on the xylophone, right? Now,
Ding, 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 ding,
yeah, you know, the classic Crash xylophone.
ding, ding, ding,
They've
ding,
used that in certain tracks that didn't have xylophone.
They've added it in.
They just added it in, they've switched it out with something else. Probably my favourite music track from Crash 1, apart from the Neo Cortex theme, which is amazing, is Temple Ruin, or Temple Ruins, I think. And that was all sort of like, mysterious. Oh. And it's got like plucked pizzicato, I believe is the term. And that
Sounds delicious.
sounds shit now.
Ah.
It's the worst one on the soundtrack.
God's sake!
I'm livid.
You should just play the Crash Bandicoot soundtrack while you play the game.
Yeah.
The new one.
Now, the generator room, that sounds really like, that sounds like what Temple Ruin should sound like, but they've
Temple ruined it.
the Temple Ruined it is what they've done. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, they've done a good job. It basically looks like old Crash, except now it's sexy. And
Sexy?
Yeah.
Good.
That's all they needed to do, and they've done it well.
Absolutely smashed it.
Yeah.
Good. Wow.
Crashed it.
Oh, well, that would be bad, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, yeah.
Let's move on. Gameplay time, Peter Austin.
Gameplay.
Might I derail you very briefly?
Of course.
Because I haven't been playing Crash Bandicoot this weekend.
No.
But it's been delightful to see such a wave of nostalgia
Yeah.
wash over everyone. It's kind of like when Pokemon Go blew up.
Right.
And I wasn't a huge Pokemon Go guy, but I really liked the fact that everyone was having fun. I booted up my PlayStation TV,
Yeah.
started re-downloading all the PS1 classics I'd bought over the years.
Lovely.
So I downloaded all the Spyro games.
You've been playing a lot of Spyro 3 this
I've played a
weekend.
lot of Spyro this weekend.
Yeah.
All
Man
my
after my own
licenses. I know.
Yeah.
Camera angles and controls do not age very well. You get used to them, but they are quite challenging.
You think?
Yes.
Right.
Were there issues with that going back and playing Crash recently, or have those been translated well, or do those remain? What's going on, Pete?
This is the big Crashgate scandal of 2017.
Oh my God,
right
it's
now,
happening.
everyone is talking about it all over Twitter. Crash is real hard for some people. Not me, because I'm good at Crash. You guys, you're really struggling with Crash Bandicoot. Now, to be fair, it's harder than it was.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. I started the level High Road with 40 lives. I game overed.
Ooh.
And then I game overed like 5 more times.
Oh, it sounds like I wouldn't have fun.
It was real hard. Now, the reason for this, someone on Reddit has done an in-depth analysis.
Right.
The jumping is weird.
Okay.
I was going to say it's shorter than it was. It's not strictly that it's shorter than it was. Now, what they had to do with this game is provide a unilateral control scheme, because you don't want to be switching up from one to the next.
Right, one game to the next.
One game to the next, yeah. Now, Crash 1, 2, and 3 originally all had slightly different jump mechanics.
Okay.
You don't recall it necessarily, but they did.
Okay.
And the issues people are having is that either whether it's down to their muscle memory from when they remember playing Crash 1, or the design of the level.
The design of the level.
The design of the level was based on the jumping mechanics of the time.
Yeah.
Now that the jumping mechanics have changed, people are missing jumps. Now, that is difficult to critique because Is it a bad game just because we're finding it difficult because we've played it before and now we're playing it again and it's different?
It's like if they remastered Demon's Souls.
Right.
They changed the rolling.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Now, me and Scott and Jules, who've been playing this game over the weekend, we're going to do a bigger chat about this issue this week at some point. But for now, I will say, yes, it's harder. The jumping has been messed with. But imagine if you went into it from never having played Crash before,
right?
You might
It'd still be hard.
It would be hard in a different way because you've never played Crash before. But in terms of actually feeling like, oh, I'm not jumping as far as I need to, you would learn the jump mechanics from, within the first couple of levels, and then you would be going off. Yeah, you'd be sorted. So that's the biggest issue with gameplay here. Aside from that, there's not a great deal else to say other than they've hit the nail on the head with most of the levels. I think that the Coco's jet ski levels in Crash 3 are a lot more fun now.
Okay.
I think also the motorbike levels from Crash 3 are different. And again, I think it works better. Some people don't. Some people in the office are saying they think it's worse. And one thing that does work exceptionally well now are the plane levels from Crash 3. The controls are so much better.
Okay.
So overall, I think it's very different. And if you've got it drilled into your head of how this game should feel, then you're going to have issues. But it's just a fun trip back to what we all once loved.
Yes.
And hopefully we can just learn to love it again in a slightly different way. Right?
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks.
That's nice.
Thank you.
I really wish, though, that there were just 3 things that I could take away from this
3 things
review.
that you sort of need to know.
Right. Yes.
Number 1. Oh, the jumping mechanics have changed. I should have thought about maybe ordering those differently.
Well, just to double down.
Yeah, just remember
just
that.
A double jump.
The jumping, just a double jump.
Just a double jump.
The jumping mechanics have changed. You need to know this. We've just talked about that. We don't need to go into any more detail.
You guys know it.
Yeah, there it is. Number 2, this is not a like-for-like remake. Okay, so the music is different to an extent.
Right.
They've actually added, certain enemies have now been turned into Neo Cortex's like square-headed henchmen when they weren't beforehand.
Okay.
So they've just tried to, I think, tie things together a bit more, add a bit of internal consistency throughout.
It's an unenviable task, isn't it? To remaster it. I think they'd be damned if they do, damned if they don't.
Oh, for sure. Like there was no way to make this. I don't think this could have been a 10 out of 10 game at all. I don't think there was any way to do that.
Well, if you're working from someone else's work, it's never going to be perfect.
No.
All you can do is a perfect recreation. And if they did that, people would complain.
Exactly. So this was never going to get 100% like across the board from anyone, I don't think.
No.
So for what they've had to do, they've done a good job. One thing that has been taken out in terms of it not being a like-for-like remake is that after defeating a couple of the bosses in Crash 3, they no longer say the line that they used to say. Some of them do, some of them don't.
Did they redo all the voice acting then?
Yes, with people who have played those characters at some point between Crash 1 and Crash right?
Yes.
So some of them are the people you know and love. Some
Crash
of them are
Bandicoot.
some of them are Crash Bandicoot. But I used to love defeating Dingo Dial, and he would go, "Oh, you thrashed me, mate, but no worries, you'll soon be up against much worse." And that was really ominous, and you're like, oh no, what's coming?
Stop it, Dingo.
He doesn't say it anymore.
You just have to say it.
Yeah.
I'll come round every time you play it and I'll say it.
Thanks. Yeah.
Just call me.
Something that's new and I like.
Yeah.
Boss death animations.
Ooh.
Embryo like falls out of the window. People do things like they fall off ledges.
Right, and out of windows.
And out of windows
Yeah.
and topple down. They didn't used to do that, you know? They just added a few little bells and whistles.
That's nice.
It's good.
Yeah.
And also the addition of Coco as well. This is not a like-for-like remake. It's got an extra thing and it's good. And if you don't like playing as Coco, you don't have to. So shut the f*** up. People who are annoyed that they've added a woman. A woman?
A woman?
A woman?
A woman?
Ah. Ready for your third thing?
Oh, am I? Give me that dessert.
This game is beautiful. Now,
Certainly
the main difference, as I said, between this and the original trilogy is that it looks different. It's
not pointy.
It's not pointy. It plays roughly the same. It has the same narrative. The thing that had to be really, really good is the presentation.
Yes.
And it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
You all know. You've all seen it.
Yeah.
You've all seen it. Look.
Look.
There you go.
Have one of these.
Here it is. Look, you've seen it.
We've got Crash t-shirts.
Don't worry.
Here's every level.
T-shirts, pictures, posters.
Take it all.
Here, look, you want some of this?
One
Look,
of
we ripped
these,
a bit out.
maybe?
We're going to sell it as DLC.
Yeah.
You don't know, you idiot. You
Right.
didn't play the game. You weren't alive. It's beautiful, though.
It is. It looks very
Isn't it?
nice. We knew it was good before it came out.
Look at this pile of trash.
Yeah.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah, look how sexy it is. But I can see why they wanted to, because that is probably why it sold so much,
Yeah,
because it
it's
looks
sold great
gorgeous.
numbers. And Domino's did an advert for it.
Domino's did a great advert for it. So, yeah, number 3, it looks great.
Looks well nice.
I mean, you kind of already knew that, so it's not a thing you need to know. It's the thing you needed to know.
There it is.
You already
If
do.
didn't know, look,
But
right there on the desk.
there it is.
Well, that's our review. Our full review for Crash Activision, the Insane Trilogy.
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
From Peter Austin. Peter, Jules, and Scott will be doing a roundtable about all the stuff that they liked and didn't like because they're massive nerds. One thing I will ask is if you can discuss the possibility now that this is done quite so well critically and commercially of Crash Team Racing or Spyro, also owned by Activision.
Trilogy, or maybe even something.
I think a lot of people want that, and this studio sounds very talented. Sounds like they know what they're doing. A lot of care and affection and love.
Vicarious Vision. It does that at the beginning. You know, it used to be like a Naughty Dog
Naughty
game
Dog
or whatever.
creation.
He does it now. Activision presents. It's really good. It's nice.
Start your engines.
Start your engines.
That's a Sony Computer Entertainment dual production. I'm going to put some of the game away now. Anyway, come back for that. Thank you everybody for watching. I've been Ben from What Culture
I've been Peter from What Culture Gaming.
And we'll see you soon.
See you next time.
Uberdot.